So this is an introduction to the MathXL program that came with the CMP3 math curriculum. So you should have a teacher access kit. It is a small cardboard folder that came with our program. You want to make sure to come to this website, mathxlforschool.com, and go ahead and make sure you sign up, and you'll have a specific code you'll need to enter. After you've signed up, we're going to go ahead and sign in, and I'll walk you through a few of the main features that you'll want to know about. Okay, so this screen is kind of your home dashboard. It'll have some things that are coming up, some results over on the side. On the left-hand side, you have two different groups. You have all of the student pieces, and from what I can tell, this looks to be more like, if you click on it, you'll see what it would look like from a student's perspective. Whereas down here in the instructor piece, this is kind of where you manage everything, all the settings, all the grading, and what that looks like. So we'll look at a couple of things. I think the biggest thing you'll want to use in the beginning is the homework and tests section and the study plan. I think one or both of those is probably going to be your main categories that you use. So the first thing you'll want to do is come over here to Course Manager under the Instructor section. So if we click that, this is where you need to create your course. And since we only have one class, you're going to only want to need to create one course, and you can always copy it over from year to year. So you're going to create a course. It's going to give you a course ID, which allows the students then to log in and link to your sign-in. Okay. So once you've created that and you've done all the settings, you're going to pick, am I doing 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade curriculum? So they only have the option of doing those particular things. Then I'm going to come down to the homework and test manager. So if I click here, you can assign students homework, quizzes, and tests that they can either take by only using our IP address at school, or they can take it anytime. You can choose that in your settings for your course manager. So here, you can see I have a few things already put into my program. But if I click homework, you're going to see down here some sample homeworks. These are pre-done for you, so you're not having to create an assignment. You can create an assignment, of course, and pick and choose which ones you'd like. But right up front, I'm sure that's a lot of work and a lot of time to put in. So if you'd like to just get some additional practice for students, the samples are a great way to do that. So it looks like each one has 2 practices per investigation. So investigation 1 might have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and probably goes up all the way to 1.5 or 1.6. And within those, this practice covers all of that. So this would be something you'd probably want to do at the end of the unit right before the test for the investigation. And it also looks like there's 2 different practices. From what I can tell, I haven't really seen a difference in the 2. I think they're very similar problems. One doesn't seem harder than the other. So I think they're just 2 different sets of practice problems. So to be able to add it to your course, you want to come over to Actions and click Choose. And then you're going to click Copy and Go. Okay, that's going to add it to my bank and ask me a few questions how I want to set that up. So I can retitle it if I like. I like the title that it is now. And I can click Next, do a few more things, or just save and assign. But right now, I like the settings that it's on, so I'm just going to save and assign it. So now kids can actually access it. Okay, so you'll see it ended up here at the bottom, and it's categorized as homework. It is assigned, and here's the start date. When you go in, you can also change it so that kids don't see it after a specific date, or you can let it be all year long so they have access to it whenever they need to. Quizzes and tests, if you want to come up here and click quizzes and tests. Similar idea, they have some sample tests and quizzes that I think I'd like to use because they're different problems than what we already have. There are some readiness assessments that you can do prior to the investigations, but the review assessments are ones I really like, and it looks like per unit. So each one has a readiness assessment per unit and a review assessment, which would be great right before that big unit test. Okay, same thing, come over here and press choose, copy it, and then it'll end up in your bank of things for the students to choose from. Okay, so that's about it in homework, quizzes, and tests. So if you come over to the left-hand side, we'll now go to the Study Plan Manager. Okay, this is where you're going to set all of the settings for their study plan. So you can set how is their grade affected by each piece, depending on what you would like. If you don't want to use the gradebook tool, you don't have to. It just is a kind of a nice way for you to keep track of the kids and what they're completing, especially if you're using this in the after-school program. So aside from homework and tests where you have to copy something and assign it, the study plan is already there and set up for the kids. So if I click Study Plan on the Student tab on the left, they're going to see something looking similar to this. So at the top, you'll see they can earn mastery points out of how many total practices and quizzes, I believe it's quizzes and tests that they have. So here it starts at the beginning, 1.1, we're in Unit 1. Okay, identify polygons by their characteristics. So it's not really by section. It's not 1.1, this is the practice. This is by idea or by standard. So for this one, they can click practice. I've already clicked it, so mine is kind of ready to quiz me, which is why it's green. But if I went to practice, it will come up with some questions. Takes a second to load. Okay, so there's a lot of tools here. So most of the practices and quizzes, I believe, are 5 questions. So looking up here at the tabs, you can see these little green checks. It's because I've already taken this practice and I've already gotten them all correct. So on the left-hand side, you see some similar buttons to the SBAC questions. And then here's the main question in the middle. And then to the right side, you'll see a bunch of tools that the students can use to help them solve this problem. So they can help me solve this. It'll show them step-by-step what to do. You can view another example. Sometimes they'll have videos to show you how to do it. I believe this one is a video. Glossary, math tools, calculator, which I believe you can disable if you'd like. You can ask my instructor, I think it emails you, or print the item, but I don't think that's necessary. So if I wanted to choose what type of shape this was, let's say I thought it was a triangle. So I click triangle. Then down here at the bottom, if you press check answer, it's going to say, sorry, it's not correct, but it's going to tell you a little bit more information so that you can learn the idea. So it's going to give me more information that I can click done. Then I can come back up here, 6 sides. So I know that's a hexagon now that they gave me more information. I'm going to check my answer again, and it's excellent. So it's going to mark it with a green check that I've done this one. Now, because I've already taken this practice, it won't move on automatically. But if I was just taking it for the first time, I believe it would move to question 2 on its own. And if not, you can always press question 2 up at the top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this window. So there are 5 practice problems, and there are 5 quiz problems, which looks exactly the same as the practice problems, but slightly different numbers or shapes or questions. Once they've mastered the quiz 5 out of 5, they will get 1 mastery point, and it will add to their total. And this shows up automatically on your gradebook, and I believe only the quizzes are part of the grade. I don't believe the practice is included within that grade unless you tell it to. Okay, so the main 2 things you're going to want to use are the study plan or the homework and test. So these 2 things, you'll manage them here, but then up in the student where the student will see it, study plan is pre-done. Homework and test you have to create on your own. I hope that helps. Good luck.